Have you ever noticed how unavoidably apparent life is? Without any doing or non-doing, it just seems to happen all by itself. And have you ever noticed that you can't really step outside of life, can you? There's really no edge to it. You can't find an edge to what's going on. You can't find a separate moment or a now. And you can't step outside of it because there is no outside. And no matter how much you try to manipulate it, to push or pull it, you simply can't. It just goes along completely spontaneously, just doing itself. No one makes it happen. No thing makes it happen. There's no God or source. It's just happening. How magical is that? How beautifully magical is that? That without any effort or non-effort, there is this magnificent, uninterrupted, indivisible symphony of perception and the simultaneous, inseparable recognition of it. Just like that, all by itself. Because the perception and awareness of it are not separate. It is only in the undermutter, that constant stream of thought made of shared learned words, that makes it seem like there are separate things. Like there's separate thing called perception, there's separate thing called sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, sensation. But really, before the undermutter seems to split it up into this and that, there is just this unspeakable aliveness that you feel, that you know deeply. And yet without the undermutter, without the dream of separation painting itself and simultaneously self-releasing, there are no separate things. There is no separate you to know this. So all that can really happen in this thing that's called awakening or enlightenment is that somehow, no one knows how this happens, the brain that paints this streaming dream of separation, so marvelous, so magnificent, sees through its own charade, so to speak. It realizes that it's making it up. It doesn't stop painting the dream continues. So awakening doesn't happen to the character. No one becomes enlightened. No one in the history of mankind has ever become enlightened. Because there's nothing to get. There's nowhere to arrive. No one can get this, and no one arrives there. It can't be taught or learned or given away or transmitted. Because you are an imaginary character, like I am a flowing thought dream created by thought. And so how possibly could thought change the brain from which it comes? That would be like a raging river trying to change the mountain springs and the rains that form it. It's simply impossible. And it's simply stunning that life really does itself. I mean, truly, all of your life you've had this gnawing feeling deep in your gut that something's wrong, because there's this belief that you are a separate person and there's all these separate things. But no belief is ever really quite believed. All belief is accompanied by hope and fear. Hope that it's true, and fear that it's not. Or fear that it is true, and hope that it's not. So this dichotomy, this tension between the believed and the knowing feeling that, oh, maybe that belief is not true, creates this horrible, painful tension for some. And we became seekers, seeking for an escape to this pain, seeking for an escape to this dream as we saw it, this feeling of being separate. But you know, there is no escape from the dream. There is no outside to the dream. All outside and inside, just like all this and that, is made up. There's no truth to find. Truth and non-truth are made up. There's no ultimate meaning. There is no meaning or non-meaning. There is no purpose or non-purpose. And to some that sounds horrible. What if there is no purpose? Wow, what if there is no meaning? What if there is no truth? Wow, what a heavy burden wouldn't it be to shed those desires to have meaning and truth and purpose? What a heavy load. What a burden you've carried with you all these years, looking for an idea of something that simply doesn't exist.